Hello, welcome to the session of Talking Tech for the women and girls in ICT. My name is Boranda Budo, and I'm going to be introducing you the representative of Code to Change, Mrs. Iffat Gill. I'm very delighted that we finally had the meeting to have this discussion and about the technology in the area of ICT. So Mrs. Iffat Gill, she is, as I told you, is the representative of the Code to Change. Her bio is as follows. She is a social innovation, gender equality, digital inclusion representative with more than 14 years of experience in the nonprofit organization of Shunri Chupal, and then she created the Code to Change. For more about this, we will be speaking later when we ask Mrs. Gill about her experience. First of all, I would like to introduce you with what Talking Tech is. So it is a series celebrating girls and women in ICT. This year, International Day of Girls in ICT was held on the 23rd of April in order to create a global environment that empowers women and encourages women, furthermore, also young women, to consider studies and careers in the field of information and communication technologies. This session of Talking Tech is organized and represented by the ITU, UN, ICC, and in the support of global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. Mrs. Gill, initiative of Code to Change, is also a partner on the session today. The goals will include the interest and inspiration of young women in the field of ICT, bringing an audience of a role model in women, and also offer diversity and showcase initiatives from real life. So to kick off this session, I am going to introduce you finally, Mrs. Rose Gill, and we will share together some of her experience in her path through technology and through ICT. Mrs. Iffat Rose Gill, I would like first to thank you for your positivity and approval of being a part of this session. My first question would be, when were you first interested to get and to dive into the field of technology?
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I think if I had to answer that question, I think it was when the internet and desktop computers became mainstream. I would have to say it was early 90s when I first got interested. I got access to my first Amiga computer, and it was just magic. We didn't have a stable internet connection yet. Now that came afterwards, the dial-in modem and everything, but it was just so fascinating. I remember, just trying things out, fiddling with it. And I was lucky to have a supportive environment around me, which provided me access and to actually experiment and play with it to see actually what it could bring. And I think, yeah, that was my first exposure to computer.
So that was like the kickoff of you in this field. And it was the path difficult to come until here, or it was like with a lot of circles, not like a straight line from A to where you are now?
It never is a straight line, is it? Of course, it was a lot of circling around, particularly because in those times, people still didn't see the full potential of it. And I mean, no one did. Although people who forecasted, of course, were very positive about what it could do for humanity in general, but a lot of people were not exactly sold. There was not yet clear-cut, understood, what could be career opportunities, for example. Yes, it's a good tool to play with and experiment, but then, the traditional careers were still like engineering, medicine, or those were the traditional fields or careers. So this is what I was also encouraged towards. I was encouraged to study medicine, but then I was allowed to have an extra class on top of that to study advanced computing, which I really cherish to this day, that I was given this opportunity. And I was like the weird one, I suppose, because in a class of 9 boys. I was the only girl, trying to figure out, okay, how to do this, how to get into this. And it was quite awkward, to walk into the class during every lesson and have to face the awkwardness, and everybody would go quiet when I would walk in. There's a girl coming in. What is she doing here? So yeah, initially I did not study to have a career in it.
Okay, I see. It was the feeling of prejudice sometimes that you felt when you get into the class, and this is something for boys. It's not meant to be for girls, and you had to face the reactions of 9 boys and you coming into the class. So
Yeah. I mean, it was hard for me to convince everybody. No, we females, we can also be geeks and nerds. It's nothing wrong with that. And they were very sweet people, those boys. But it was not that I felt prejudiced or unwelcomed.
okay.
It was awkward. It was
Okay.
just an awkward sense of awkwardness more than anything.
It's like innovation is always awkward for people in the beginning because nobody knows what it will bring. Okay, so what's your actual job in technology right now?
Right. So it's a whole journey where, that led to my current job. I'm head of Code to Change, the foundation in the Netherlands, officially Stichting Municipal. And what we're trying to do, or what my job is to see, how can we integrate more women and girls into the technology field. The biggest challenge that we see during our work in Europe is, for example, that there's a lot of motivation, there's a lot of talent out there, but it was difficult for them, for the women that we are working with. And let me just clarify, we're working with two different groups. One is women who are already in the workforce and they want to have make a switch to a more technical role. And the other group that we're working with is women who took a break for a few years for some personal reasons, and now they're trying to get back into the workforce. And bulk of the employment opportunities are, of course, tech related. And for them to get back into the workforce, they need kind of like a head start, kind of like a mentorship program that will help them reintegrate into the workforce, which is now predominantly tech workforce. So the foundation works with them to find out how we can reintegrate them. We do digital skills boot camps, we do meetup events, we do conferences and educational events, informational events around different topics that will help them understand more about what is happening in the technology field. And of course, we feature a lot of women in tech in our events who are the role models that inspire others to tell them, okay, I've not always been in tech and this was my journey, this is how I made it, you can do it too.
It makes you proud for helping these women, proud of this of helping these women in the technology field, right?
Most definitely, of course, yes. It's like a dream job because you're making impact and it's also your job, right? So yeah, I do feel very fortunate, but at the same time very unfortunate as well, because we wouldn't be doing this if the world was a more equal place, if all the opportunities were a bit more equal to people of all genders, to people of all backgrounds. So in that regard, yes, we do have our fair share of challenges. For example, when our graduates they try to apply for certain posts, they're still not welcomed because the industry is still, or the recruiting process is still quite biased, and they don't feel welcomed. And for those who do make it to the workforce, then there's another set of challenges that doesn't allow them to thrive in the workforce. So this is where the retention issue in the tech industry comes in, because once they get in and they see this unwelcoming environment, this one woman on the tech team, and she doesn't feel welcome, she feels discrimination, even harassment sometimes, and then she's pushed out of her role, and she doesn't want to go back to the same field. So I think it does come with a good amount of challenges as well, which we are of course working on in parallel to what they're doing.
Exactly what I was about to ask you right now about the challenges, but you perfectly explained it already. What are the lessons that you would like to share with us regarding the challenges that you have been through? So is there any particular lesson that you realize while you are facing these challenges?
Definitely. In a lot of our work, we notice that this problem of, be it lack of diversity, of lack of participation of women in workforce, particularly those from backgrounds which are not native to that place. What we notice is it's very important that you include all the stakeholders that are involved in it. We are a nonprofit. I'm an activist. I cannot do this alone. You need a buy-in from the government. You need a buy-in from the industry itself. You need the support of, for example, our academia, because they know what's happening on the ground. They are the ones that are researching into it, and it's a collaborative thing, and that's how we will succeed. So in every region that we try to support women in, we make sure that we include all those stakeholders in our work, because once we train them, they need to go out into the workforce. So we make sure that we have support of the private sector, for example, of the local government there. So we make sure that this pipeline problem that we call is solved, and they're not just left alone after they go through our boot camp. That's very important. And I think anyone who's coming into this field to solve this issue has to keep that in mind. It's not the job of one stakeholder or one actor, so to say.
Okay, so is there any other passion that you have beyond technology, something more extra that you can tell us about yourself?
I think if I had to name three random things that I'm really into right now, also to help us get through this COVID-19 crisis, I would say it has to be a combination of cappuccino and latte macchiato, kickboxing, and artificial intelligence. Those are.
Okay, so I'm stuck at the kickboxing. I did not expect kickboxing. Okay, so is there anything specific that you are doing in the artificial intelligence?
Yes, I'm now working on, and this is separate from my work at Code to Change. The need arose because of the work that I'm trying to do in emerging economies. We train people in emerging economies, and what happens is that then they have very limited opportunities still. I mean, their opportunities are many, but they're not exactly directed at this target audience that we are working with, who do not have all the access in the world, so their access is limited. So we are trying to build an AI-enabled platform to support women who are looking for opportunities globally, paid opportunities, economic opportunities, and connect them to female entrepreneurs all around the world so that they can support each other.
This is very interesting, and I'd also be interested in that too. Now that I listen it from you, it's really inspiring.
I will keep you posted.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Like, it's really interesting, and I did not know that. But when you told me about artificial intelligence, it's a hot topic for the moment that most of people in technology are interested in. So it's very interesting for me too. So since this series is about girls and women in technology, do you have any career or tech advice for young girls and women in particular?
I don't have a quote ready, but I definitely advices that I love to share with the young women who want to move into this, and I'd say if they have the interest, they shouldn't doubt themselves. They shouldn't have second thoughts about it. They should just go for it. And the best thing that helps, I'm very proud of women like you, Bora, for doing this with me. For example, this is such a prime example of how the existing women in tech can support the women who would like to start their careers or their educational journey in the field. I think this is very important. If you're a woman in tech who would like to succeed, it's always a good idea to find a mentor or somebody who can advise you in it. There are a lot of people out there who would love to do that, especially now with these times that we're going through. Everybody is quite, at least everybody around me, I feel, is quite geared towards giving back and supporting each other, and how can we all collectively make the world a better place. So I would say, find this one skill that you would like to build your skills in, find a mentor, and just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yes, it's terrible to look stupid when you're starting on a new journey. What kind of questions to ask. Oh my god, what is this? Yeah, what is machine learning, for example? Please do not be afraid to ask questions, and just go for it.
Thank you so much. It was really inspiring, and it's very powerful what saying right now. I would like to add that if you have any question about me, my profile, I am open to answer.
Definitely. I would love to know the project that you're currently working on, and what inspired you to be part of it, and how is it going?
Description of the job that I'm doing on ITU is shared between two offices, because I'm working for the innovation office of ITU. And what I'm doing there is digital environment developer, which means that we are targeting main stakeholders of countries around the world, and trying to involve them in projects and in conferences when they can meet up, collaborate, and further integrate in the technology field. And I'm also supporting the European office, where I was asked to participate at this session of women in technology, and I'm trying to support them with helping in conferences, webinars of technology that they are holding around Europe, mainly for countries of East Europe, Southeast Europe, which need more support in leveraging the penetration of technology in their system, not only for the private sector and startups, but also for the government side, because policies in the ICT sector are highly important to have a better environment and of the other stakeholders. So yeah.
Wow, that's huge, amazing.
Trying to get involved more, and to know how I can support more these huge initiatives, because these are huge initiatives from ITU, and what I'm doing is just a very small part of that.
I think this leads me to my other advice that I have for talented and high potential women like yourself. Don't underestimate what you're part of, what you are capable of. Cherish what you have achieved and celebrate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your question. If you would have any other further question,
Probably one last one. I just spoke in my previous advice to young women that they should find mentors. How are you doing on that front, and within your organization? It's important for us, actually for everybody, to have a mentor or a sponsor. How are you doing on that front? Did you have one, or did you consider it?
Yeah, I mean, my innovation manager has been really a mentor for me because I've studied innovation and research and development, and I was not very aware what innovation and R&D were before, but it was something that it is like a forced marriage, that then you love the husband. even even this master for me was like a forced thing that I did, because when I was doing the application in Switzerland, this was the only thing that I got accepted in this university. So I was not very aware of what like innovation technologies were and research and development, because I had previously studied economics, which is related, but more it's for the public sector or the central bank policies. So I had to dive into a new thing, and I really loved it, and I really like. I'm very happy that this was my choice, and that I had to go this way. So sometimes forced decisions might be good and might be potential for the future. Yes, my manager in the innovation office, he's really inspiring person. One of my professors in the university was a very inspiring person, not only teaching but also giving a very high potential advices for my future career. I'm very happy that we did that I was chosen to make the interview to you, especially especially. So thank you so much for your time, for your answers, for your final questions too, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Bora. I'll be following your journey for
Thank
sure.
you
This
so
was a
much.
lovely conversation.
Me too. I'll have to ask you other questions. So please don't get bothered for my questions in artificial intelligence, especially. I'd like to add that this wraps up our session for the Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. Thank you so much once again. I honestly really enjoyed having this interview with Iffat today. Thank you for the time and thank you for watching.